Of course, being a mathematician, I'm always looking for ways to avoid tedious, mundane labor, especially if it means I get to do a bunch of interesting abstract thinking. That's kind of the whole math thing, working hard to find ways to get out of working hard. If you are really, really lazy and also happen to be really, really clever, then math just might be the life for you, assuming you also have no interest in wealth, fame, or popularity. Perhaps the most surprising and powerful aspect of place value arithmetic is how it reduces any calculation to a set of purely abstract symbolic manipulations in principle. I suppose one could even be trained to perform such symbol jiggling procedures without any comprehension whatever of the underlying meaning. We could even, if we can possibly imagine being so cruel, force young children to memorize tables of symbols and meaningless step-by-step procedures, and then reward or punish them for their skill or lack thereof in this dreary and soulless activity. This would help protect our future office workers from accidentally gaining a personal relationship to arithmetic as a craft, or enjoying the perspective that outlook would provide. We could turn the entire enterprise into a mechanical process, and then reward those who show the most willingness to be made into reliable, obedient tools. I wonder if you can imagine such a nightmarish dystopian world. Let's try not to think about it. About it. There's a spin about it. There's a mind by forever arithmetic mathematician freestylist. There's a spitting syllables into the abyss of my infinite syllable mix. There I go spitting again and again. Trigonometry. I was trying to unravel a complicated trigonometry of the radical thought that silence could make up the greatest lie ever told. Trigonometry is a sign of the times. What our eyes met in the math class. How were we to know that trigonometry would lead to matrimony trigonometry? Can you imagine young people nowadays making a study of trigonometry for the fun of it? Well, I did. Splendid. Well, there you go, spitting again. There you go, never stop spitting again. I'm by forever mathematician freestylist. The obvious cure for the tragic shortcomings of human intuition in a high-tech world is education, and this offers priorities for educational policy to provide students with the cognitive tools that are most important for grasping the modern world, and that are most unlike the cognitive tools they are born with. The perilous fallacies we have seen in this chapter, for example, would give high priority to economics, evolutionary biology, and probability and statistics in any high school or college curriculum. Unfortunately, the most curricula medulla oblongata have barely changed since medieval times, and are barely changeable because no one wants to be the Philistine who seems to be saying that it is unimportant to learn a foreign language or English literature or trigonometry or classics. But no matter how valuable a subject may be, there are only 24 hours in a day, and a decision to teach one subject is also a decision not to teach another one. The question is not whether trigonometry is important, but whether it is more important than statistics. Not whether an educated person should know the classics, but whether it is more important for an educated person to know the classics than to know elementary economics in a world whose complexities are constantly challenging our intuitions. These trade-offs cannot be responsibly but be avoided or avoided. I love reading poetry, and yet at this point the thought of me writing a poem to me is tantamount to figuring out a trigonometry question. I'm the forever mathematician freestylist, yo. I go spitting again, the echoes in my head. Can I stop hearing them again? Well, must be wrong with my head. Hearing the echoes again inside of my head. Never stop it, I said. Never stop it, I said. Keep hearing them in my head echoing again. echoing again inside of my head. The ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. The intelligent man is one who has successfully fulfilled many accomplishments and is yet willing to learn more. The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to avoid to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. Action is the real measure of intelligence. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. True intelligence requires fabulous imagination. They think that intelligence is not about noticing things that are irrelevant, deleting, detecting patterns in a complex world. Intelligence consists in ignoring things that are irrelevant, avoiding false patterns. Rapper Forever and Saturn. Genius is talent set on fire by courage. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. By the way, intelligence to me isn't just being book smart or having a college degree. It's trusting your gut instincts, being intuitive, thinking outside the box, and sometimes just realizing that things need to change and being smart enough to change it, arrange it. By Forever, wisdom rapper, infinite top. By Forever, highly intellectual, a brainwasher, a manipulator, raptor, velociraptor, adaptor.